welcome everybody to the end of the 2021 season. I know something that a lot of Vikings fans have been wanting is a big change here to the team, how they're coached, some of the player personnel, everything, GM. And we today are going to start that process. As you see coming out here, Kirk Cousins. He hasn't had a great time while being a Minnesota Viking quarterback. Hasn't been awful, but hasn't gotten them to that point where they really wanted, which is a Super Bowl victory. That's why you play the game, and that's why they hire you. So we are going to be making a big change. The GM is out of here. Rick Spielman is out. And along with him is going to be a big change everywhere else. We're going to be bringing in an entirely new coaching staff. Zimmer is gone, and your new GM is not actually going to be just one solid person, one sole person. It's actually being handed over to past players of the Minnesota Vikings, with the main guy in charge going to be Chad Greenway. He was one of my personal favorite guys watching for sometime over the last decade. He's been a fantastic player to watch, and now he's going to step in and help get this team back on track to where they should be going. There has been a lack of enthusiasm and aggressiveness that a lot of fans have commented on, and over the last couple weeks as well, even Justin Jefferson has even been commenting on it. And with previous history of receivers, star receivers leaving due to the coaching, those being Sidney Rice, Stephon Diggs, all leaving because he just isn't happy with the direction of the team. We are going to be changing that here. We're going to be bringing in a more aggressive play calling form and really just amplifying what it is to be a Minnesota Viking. Bring a lot more power, energy to the team, and basically rebuilding this team while we still have a few players left that are actually superstars to help get this team to where they're supposed to go and beyond. So with that all being said there, let's actually fast forward through the end of this game, because honestly it's not going to matter what happens here. We all know it has not been a good season for the Vikings. So let's fast forward here and let's go meet the team and talk a little bit more about what it is that we are going to do as the Minnesota Vikings. So if you are a fan of the Minnesota Vikings, you probably know this roster very well. However, if you're just a fan of Madden and the franchise gameplay in general, you might not have as strong of a connection to this roster. So we're going to go over this roster a little bit here. We're going to talk about certain players that I like, certain players that I think we can move on from, and certain players that we will definitely be moving on from, as we need a real big shakeup here on this team to get that energy back that the team had a few years ago, back around the Minneapolis Miracle. So starting off, quarterback. There's been a big controversy over the last couple years, and even more so this year after we had drafted Kellen Mond. So Kirk Cousins, he hasn't been awful. Of course, after that last Green Bay game, he looked a lot better after seeing what Mannion was able to do, I guess is the best way to describe it, or not able to do. So Kirk Cousins, right now he's 33 years old. He's a 78 overall. He's not your franchise guy. He has a decent arm, decent accuracies, provides a little bit of mobility here and there, but at the age that he is and the lack of production at the elite level where it really counts, mostly in the playoffs and in primetime games, he hasn't brought what the team needs. So Kirk Cousins is definitely one of the guys we're going to be moving on from. Most likely that'll be in some sort of trade, as his penalty is outrageous. Now, Kellen Kellen, he is not going to be, at least in Madden, he's not going to be your next franchise guy. You know, we haven't been able to see him much in real life. A big part of that is Zimmer just not playing the guy. He had great opportunity in that Green Bay game to play. He played him for 3 downs, took him back out. Hopefully in this last week they'll play him. We'll get to see him a little bit. But in Madden here, as you can see with the ratings, they're not good. He doesn't have a very good deep accuracy. Medium's not there. Short accuracy you could work with, but it's not great. Now, he does provide some speed. So depending on what we get in the draft or in free agency, he could be a kind of a wildcat kind of style quarterback. But he's normal dev. He's not going to be a great long-term quarterback to build around. And then Mannion, we all saw in that Green Bay game, he was awful. so he will not be continuing here. Dalvin Cook, one of the best running backs in the league, fantastic player, definitely want to keep him around. He's 26 this year, and this year is about over, so he'll be 27 next year, which means we really only have 2 to 3 years to get him a Super Bowl ring that he deserves. His ratings are all fantastic. I'm working a little bit on the trucking there, as the elusiveness skills are already there. But the problem with Dalvin is going to be his injury. He's known to be injury prone. So we need to be able to limit his carries, probably about 15 rushes a game, maybe a few receiving touches as well. But being sure that we could limit him, keep him successful will be key. And then you have Alexander Mattison, who's his backup and is honestly one of probably the better backups in the league. He's what I would kind of call a bit of a great value version of Dalvin Cook. When you watch them play together, you could see similarities. The difference is going to come in top-end speed with Mattison. He doesn't have as much speed as Cook, but he does have that balance of agility as well as power. You see here the trucking is 88, juke move 84, change of direction is a little bit low, but he has good hands. He's going to be able to catch some passes out of the backfield, be a good spell back, especially in the ground and pound game, short yardage situations. Sometimes we'll pull Dalvin out, give him a rest. Mattison will be a great alternative to bring in. Beyond him, they signed Wayne Gallman. I don't see myself continuing with him at all, especially when we have Nwangwu here from Iowa State. He's shown real promise in the return game, so we want to make sure he continues that here. 95 speed, 95 acceleration, 89 agility. He has a little bit of some elusive moves in Madden. They don't always correlate. We've seen a little bit in the return game. Not much break tackling there. He's going to be an open field kind of guy. And he doesn't have a lot of catching ability either, so he's going to be more of a gadget style player. Probably put him out in the slot, especially for some jet sweep options. Just kind of use him as a bit of a gadget spell kind of player. Definitely going to be in the return game though. At fullback, you have CJ Ham. Everyone loves CJ Ham as a Vikings fan. He's done a great job being a lead blocker for Dalvin. He has some ability in run blocking in Madden. Madden really doesn't ever give fullbacks very high run blocking. Impact blocking is not very high either, but that impact block is fantastic along with his speed. You rarely see fullbacks with 81 speed. Also has decent strength at 77, really good acceleration at 80. It was 87, and then catching is 70. So he's a fantastic utility fullback for us. So we'll keep him probably a bit as long as his contract is. We'll see what we do past that point. When it comes to the receiving, this is where we have two fantastic players. Unfortunately, Adam Thielen, he missed the last couple weeks here of the real-life season with an ankle injury. Because of that, he didn't play at all in this sim of this season. So he'll be back next year. However, he's going to be 32. So he's not going to be a player that's going to go long into the rebuild here. But will provide us a solid bridge while we kind of fix some other spots, and then hopefully bring in another receiver in the future in the draft, maybe even in a trade or free agency that could take that spot, fill those shoes that as a Vikings fan we all love Thielen. So it'll be sad for when he goes, but eventually he will. But for right now, really good stats, great hands, great route running. Release isn't that bad either. Of course, this is before the end of the season, so some of these might regress. But fantastic player, and my phone's going off. I am sorry about that. Fantastic player whose injury's fairly high. Has been a pretty reliable player in terms of injury-wise. And then our young phenom here with Justin Jefferson, fantastic receiver, superstar development in Madden. And his skills also fantastic. He has the speed, he has the hands, the route running. Release is fantastic, so he'll be a great deep threat. And for that, we're going to need a quarterback who could get the ball downfield and a line to protect the quarterback to let that time kind of go, let Jefferson get downfield and get some of these chunk plays that they really haven't had. Injury is also pretty decent. Kick return is a 61, but doesn't really matter. He's definitely not going to be doing any kick returning. Past that, there's really not any proven vets here for the number 3 spot. In real life, KJ Osborne to me has actually been kind of a surprise. Really happy with the season he's put, and considering he really didn't play at all his rookie season, I don't even know if he was active for most of the weeks of his rookie season. But 89 speed, not bad, 89 acceleration. He's not going to be a burner, but he has solid hands and okay starting points for medium and short route running. Release isn't there. He's definitely going to be a slot type. He brings a little bit of some change of direction and ability to run after the catch. Not a whole lot. The issue that I have here with Osborne is he's 24 this year. So after we get through the offseason, he's going to be 25. And there's not going to be a lot of time for him to progress into a highly rated receiver. Granted, you don't always need the higher ratings to have production, but that's definitely something we are going to need to consider there. Else on the team right now is D.D. Westbrook. Not too keen on bringing him back. There's Olabisi Johnson, who really hasn't been consistent whatsoever. Similar ratings here to Osborne, so those two would kind of be competing for the same spot. You have Amir Smith-Marset, another rookie. Really hasn't seen the field at all. Has okay hands, great speed. He's a developmental deep route runner. So he would kind of be a backup version of a less skilled Justin Jefferson, where he has the speed, he has the ability to get downfield, but there's a lot that needs to be worked on. Luckily, he's young, he's 22, will be 23 in this new season, so has the option of kind of growing. I probably see him getting to maybe a mid-70s would be kind of his ceiling there. And then we have Dan Chisena. I honestly don't know how to pronounce his name. I only every now and then see him on special teams getting destroyed by backup fullbacks, so he most likely will not be making the team. If anything, he would be maybe a backup returner with that speed and acceleration. Unfortunately, doesn't really bring much in terms of elusiveness with that, so you're looking at maybe practice squad, maybe cut. So not looking positive there for Dan. At tight ends, really impressed with Conklin this year. Everyone was coming into the season hyping up Irv Smith Jr. He had a great season prior. He has fantastic speed, and I was really looking forward to him as well. Unfortunately, he was injured, didn't get to play this year. So really looking forward to getting him back. And turns out in Madden, he's a better run blocker than Conklin, which I was surprised. So you see here he has 64, -1 right now. But 64 run blocking is fantastic. Lead block 60, which for tight ends is honestly pretty good. Injury rating, pretty good. When you look at Conklin, what stands out with him is his catching rating at 91. However, his speed is a lot less and his run blocking is a lot less. And his contract is over at the end of this year, and we'll get into the contract shortly. But it makes it hard to decide if we keep Conklin or if we go with just Irv Smith, because we've seen this last year. Conklin has been fantastic, a great reliable receiver for Kirk, but he just struggles in the run game, and when you have Dalvin, you need to have a good run game, and the inside, the interior of the offensive line struggles. So if we need to get to the outside where our better blockers are, we need to have a tight end that could block as well. Chris Herndon was a trade from the Jets. Probably won't end up keeping him, cut, trade. He's not a very good blocker. And honestly, I haven't seen a single play in real life that he's done anything well at, so probably end up moving on from him. Yes, it's not a good run blocker. Luke Stoker, not going to keep. Ben Elfson, probably not. He's a 61. He might be a practice squad, but he's not a good run blocker either, so most likely not making it. And then we have the long snapper, which I just kept on the team for fun this sim. Then we had the rookie left tackle, Christian Darrisaw, who played in the full season. In the real life, he hasn't due to injuries early on. But I would see him more as a candidate to get moved to the interior line, depending on what we're able to do in the offseason, because his pass block is a 70, which is not going to cut it going up against premier edge talent. He has some run blocking ability. The run block power is really nice, 85. Decent strength. He has some decent lead block and impact block skills there. So to me, he's more of a candidate to get moved down into the interior. At 6'5", 314, he could be a force to be reckoned with there. And we definitely have a hole at right guard. We'll jump over there where we have Udo here, and he hasn't been very good. You see here, pass block is 62. That's not going to cut it, especially when we have the receivers we do. We want to get more of a passing game, and that's not going to happen with him as a starter. So definitely need a replacement there. We did draft Wyatt Davis, but in Madden at least, it's looking like a bust. He has more of the pass blocking abilities, could be maybe a decent backup tackle, not really a guard, as he's not very strong and he doesn't have much in terms of run blocking ability. So most likely he's not going to play really ever. We need a update over Udo. Let's see. Ezra Cleveland has been okay. He's nothing fantastic. Again, probably something that we need to upgrade, but being able to upgrade basically 2, maybe 3 of the 5 offensive line positions would be very difficult in an offseason. So something we could look at, see what's there, but most likely he will be around at least for one more season. So decent run blocker, struggles again in some of the pass blocking, does okay against finesse rushers, but overall he's not much of a run or a pass blocker there. Garrett Bradbury, he's okay. He is going to be 27 in the new season, very similar to the rest of the offensive line where they're decent to good run blockers, but they struggle in that pass. However, I do have to give him a shout out for that catch and run when Conklin got clocked in that Green Bay game. That was fantastic. The only highlight of that game, basically. So we might end up needing to move him to tight end or something. But the only spot we don't need to worry about on this offensive line is Brian O'Neill. He's going to be 26 in that new season, and he has the best skill set across the board all over our offensive line. He is the best and deserves that captain badge that he has there. So 85 strength, nothing to write home about, but solid, makes do. But it's the balance that he has of run blocking and pass blocking ability, which will be key, and many of the threats in this game when it comes to edge rush, they play on the left-hand side of the defense. So the right tackle in this game, to me, seems to be a little bit more important than the left tackle, which in the real life, where you really want to protect your quarterback's blind side, it's a little bit opposite in this game. So really happy with Brian O'Neill. He'll be a great building block to go around. Going back to those tackles, I don't think we need to talk about Blake Brandel here. He's a 58. He's not making it. Danielle Hunter, fantastic player. Love him. He's not happy with the current status that he is at with the Vikings, but with his skill set and what we're doing here, we're rebuilding basically the front office and some of the depth chart as well. He's a key player that we need to make sure is happy and will stick around for the long haul. He is a superstar X Factor. He's 26, will be 27. Has unstoppable force. He's a speedster and extra credit. So he's going to make sure that we are racking up those sacks. We need that in this game because coverage is not going to be very good, especially with the current talent that we have. We'll get to that very soon. DJ Wanham is a young player. He showed potential. I don't think he has the current skill set to be the number one on the opposite side of Daniil. We'll see what there is available in the draft, maybe even in free agency. See if there's a better pair that we could put out there with Daniil. But in the meantime, Wanham has been impressive for how young he is in terms of his experience in the NFL. However, he will be 24 after we get through the off season here, so doesn't have that much more time to really reach a higher overall. The rest kind of depth here. Jarius Robinson, a lot of hype I've heard from people who were expecting him to come in and kind of be someone that can be molded very similar to Danielle Hunter. Unfortunately, Madden doesn't see those stats there, so most likely depth at best. On the other side, the right end, we have Everson Griffin. All Vikings love Everson. He brings a sense of energy that the team really lacked this year. Unfortunately, he had his mental health issues, and wish him all the best. Probably won't be bringing him back in real life. I really hope he retires, focuses a bit more on his mental health, his family health, and can be a part of the Vikings organization, just not as a player. I think would be a great fit for Everson. There's Sheldon Richardson. His contract is also up. Probably, I don't really see us bringing him back in terms of being an edge guy. He does not have much speed or pass rush ability. If anything, he would be more of a depth defensive tackle. Also another rookie, Patrick Jones. We've seen him make a couple plays here and there. Nothing too splashy. Fortunately, Madden doesn't have any block shedding or power moves or finesse moves. So again, very similar to the other rook that we had over at left end with the other Robinson. Or not the other Robinson, I was thinking of Richardson. The other rookie end probably will be backup at best, but not much to go off of there. We do have Michael Pierce, who's really is the strongest form that we had on the defensive line this last year. Great strength, great block shedding, fantastic run stopper, which we need because we don't have fantastic run stopping ability when it comes to our linebackers, and again we'll talk about that shortly as well. But would love to keep Michael Pierce around. He is going to be 29, probably won't be around for too much longer depending on regression, but a solid force to have in the middle. In his tandem is Dalvin Tomlinson, who again has, made plays here and there. Both of these defensive tackles have struggled with health, whether it's injuries or the pandemic. Tomlinson brings in a bit of strength. Again, nothing over the top. It's only 88. Kind of a little bit of a great value version of his tackle mate here. So would be solid, again, probably for a year or two, depending again on what we see in the draft. But Pierce and Tomlinson will be staying. Armand Watts, again, has made some plays, will be a backup. Lynch, very similar there. Twyman will probably be a practice squad player. Don't see him making the full roster. At linebacker, now there's going to be a big turnover here at linebacker. So Nick Vigil, he's 28. He's 69 overall with that morale, taking a hit there. But he doesn't bring any abilities. He's got some decent speed. There's no coverage ability, very little block shedding, so he's not going to be a good run stopper. We need to upgrade here. There's no one currently on the roster on the left outside linebackers that can really be a staple for the future. Now, middle linebacker Eric Kendricks, who in I think one of the previous games, I think it was the one before the Packers game, they kept calling him Michael Kendricks, which was his brother, and that irritated me. Eric Kendricks is a fantastic middle linebacker. Unfortunately, he will be 30 after this season, so won't be around much longer. He's another guy that I definitely want to get a ring. So he brings good speed, good tackling ability. His awareness and play rec are fantastic. Has the cover ability. Fantastic player. Definitely going to keep him around. Unfortunately, with regression, we're not quite sure how long he's going to really be able to stay around in a 3-down situation. Now, at right outside linebacker, there is a lot of mixed feelings here about Anthony Barr. When he first came into the league, him and Kendricks were a great tandem. The athleticism that he brought really made him stand out, but he took off so many plays while also making some great plays. But I don't believe Barr is going to be a player that we are going to be able to keep around much longer. And by much longer, I mean his contract is over at the end of this season that we simmed through here. So what I see most likely happening with Barr is going to be a sign and trade. I don't want to just straight up lose his ability, especially when it comes to possibly giving us something that we need to get better. But Barr is most likely going to be one of the players I'm going to sign and trade. He's starting to regress a bit. He's only a 79 right now. He's also going to be 30. He has okay cover ability, okay block shedding, but he just doesn't play as aggressive as he should have for his full potential that he could have kind of portrayed for us all here. Then there was rookie Chaz Surratt. I don't really think he played much at all. He's probably a special teams guy this year. Very similar to the rest of our linebackers, where there's no cover skills, no run stopping skills. He has great speed, but that's about it. He'll probably be depth, depending on what we're able to find in free agency. Then we have Patrick Peterson, who was kind of hit or miss this year. We try to bring in a veteran presence in that cornerback group. It's been awful this year. He has 91 speed, so he has some good speed, decent press ability. His cover skills are not there like they used to be. Good catch. He can pick off the ball if he happens to be there, but he's kind of struggled a bit this year. He's going to go up in age. He'll be 32. We'll see how his regression is and if we want to bring him back. We also have Mackenzie Alexander we brought back this last year, and okay. Definitely wouldn't want him to be a number 2 corner. Okay speed, will get burnt at times. Doesn't have much zone coverage ability. Not a whole lot of press ability. Decent tackling, especially for a corner, which is always nice, and definitely something that needs to get better on the Vikings is the tackling. So that's something we need to get better at. There's the young Cameron Dantzler, who had a great end to his rookie season, but this last season hasn't really done a whole lot. Again, doesn't have fantastic speed, will get burned, especially by the super quick deep route runners that are in this game and in this league. But very similar model to the previous corners, where they have some man coverage ability, decent press ability, no zone coverage ability whatsoever. So he's a guy I would probably consider to be maybe a slot guy. I don't remember what his tackling is here. 52. He's not really going to be a great tackle guy to kind of bring in blitzes or help stuff the run or anything like that. Mostly when I've seen him tackle in real life, he kind of just pushes people. Past him, Chris Boyd, there's next to no cover ability there. And the same really goes for Harrison Hand. The depth past Dantzler is not good. As you can see here, there's nothing in the 70s even for coverage ability there. So not good there. Xavier Woods we brought in, try to take over a rotation of free safeties, and I wasn't very impressed with his ability this year. He has some good hit power. Coverage ability is okay, but where he struggles is the awareness and play rec, which shows even here in Madden that he is not great at reading the plays and ends up leaving a lot of guys open, being a step or two behind. So not super happy with him. We'll see what we have in free agency, if we end up bringing him back or not. Then we have Harrison Smith, the hitman. Fantastic player, love him. So smart. Has a sense of kind of relaxed energy that he doesn't have to, go crazy, but people know. Unfortunately, not super fast. As he ages, going to go down in Madden, but he still has really good cover skills, great hit power. With my my strong safeties, I like to play them down towards the line of scrimmage, blitz them, very similar to what he does in real life with the Zimmer's defensive style. So that part will definitely continue. I want to make sure we keep him around because replacing 2 safeties would be way too difficult. The backup safeties, Josh Metellus, who really hasn't played much at all, doesn't have much cover ability, can tackle a little bit. And then the other that has played a bit this year is Cameron Bynum. It's okay, but nothing that would be a replacement or a place starter for next year. Definitely would be more of a backup. And then everyone's least favorite position as the Vikings is they have been cursed since the Seattle playoff game a few years, or was it 2016, I think. They have not had any luck with their kickers. And Greg Joseph, very similar. He can hit from range. We've seen him hit some 50-plus yard field goals, but he cannot do it accurately and consistently. So we'll see what we have available to us in the off-season. Maybe bring him back, most likely look for someone else. But that is the current state of the roster. Now, of course, we still have contracts that we have to go through. So we'll jump back over to that screen here. Players to negotiate with. And there's quite a few of them, most of which we're not going to bring back, or if we do, it's going to be a sign and trade. Everson Griffin, not one we're going to bring back. Like I said, I hope in real life he retires and starts working on his mental health. Hate to see when a guy like that ends up having issues, but love the guy, hope the best for him. Anthony Barr, most likely we're going to try to sign and trade. Patrick Peterson, we're going to take a look after this offseason, see what the regression is, see what the skills are still at, and see what we want to do with him. Xavier Woods, very similar. Most likely we're not going to sign him originally. We're going to take a look, see what we have in free agency, and make a decision then. Tyler Conklin has played fantastic this year. I just don't think with the run blocking being lower than Irv Smith, and with us getting Irv Smith back, that we should keep both Conklin and him. We'll definitely take a look though in free agency, see if people are offering him, and if not, we would definitely like to bring him back. Anyway, Trixie, knock it off. Sheldon Richardson, not going to bring back. As you can see here, 75 power moves is the highest. That's going to regress. Most likely not going to bring him back. Mackenzie Alexander. Honestly, all the corners are probably going to treat the same. See what they look like after the season. Maybe sign them, maybe not. Maybe look at them again in free agency compared to everyone else that's available. Jordan Berry, it's okay. He's a punter. Not much to really talk about there. D.D. Westbrook, going to be 28 years old, 73 overall, might even regress. Not going to be re-signing him. Wayne Gallman Jr., not going to be re-signing him. I want to make sure we get our young rooker in the next season. Will be a second-year player, a bit more reps out there. Nick Vigil, not going to re-sign. Greg Joseph, not going to re-sign now. We'll see what's available in free agency. Might bring him back. Chris Herndon, not bringing him back. Mason Cole, nope. Stoker, nope. Bauer, nope. Hill, no. Everyone past this point we're not going to bring back, including Dozier, Ellefson, Dan, because I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Brandel, Mannion, and Dipaloa. We don't need a long snapper in Madden, so that's kind of what we're looking at here with the current state of this team and what we're planning on doing. So that is going to be it for the intro to this season here, the franchise that we're going to be bringing here. With the big change in the next episode will be the firing of Zimmer, hiring a new coach, and the full off season. So if you guys feel like this is something you're going to enjoy, you want to see the Vikings finally do well, even in Madden, then make sure you guys are liking, commenting, and subscribing, and we'll be back very soon with the off-season episode. Until next time, see you guys later. Bye.